We'll go back to Chris, who had a chance tonight to talk to Donald Trump. Chris?
Right, Brian, and of course you want to put the people to sleep tonight thinking dreams of your success and your advantage for them when they get to vote tomorrow. So here's Donald Trump making what I think is a closer, and the closer's pretty negative. He's going after the guy who's challenged him all along the way here, Ted Cruz. He nails him. He even says he's ineligible to be running for president. Your numbers look good in the poll, but they're about 5 points ahead now. Are you going to win?
Well, I hope I'm going to win. You know, it's an election. Who knows? But I tell you, we have a tremendous amount of relationship with the people of Iowa. We have, you know, I've been all over the state. I've been here numerous times, many times, and we've had tremendous rallies. I just got back from 2 very big rallies. We had an endorsement, as you know, from Jerry Falwell Jr., who was amazing today, and the endorsement was incredible, from Liberty University, and he's seen every candidate. He knows every candidate, and he endorsed Donald Trump. And, you know, we have so many other endorsements, Sarah Palin, even Sheriff Joe. I don't know if you'll like that one, but I like it because it shows we're very, we're very firm on illegal immigration. But we've had tremendous endorsements, Chris, and you know, the relationship with the people of Iowa has been fantastic.
Do you think it's morally wrong for someone to be elected president who comes from some other country?
Well, what are you
talking
getting
about?
at?
I'm talking about the guy. I'm talking about Cruz.
Are you talking about Ted Cruz? Because he was born in Canada. Well, he was born in Canada. No, I just think that, you know, if you look at your constitutional scholars, Chris, numerous of them have now come out and said he's not allowed to be president. I guess he can run, but he can't be president. And it's a real question mark. It's a real problem that he's got. I mean, he's got a lot of problems. He didn't file in financial disclosure Goldman Sachs and Citibank loans, which is a pretty big problem for him. But then, you know, you have the problem where he was born in Canada. He was a Canadian citizen until 15 months ago, jointly with the United States, I guess, but he was a Canadian citizen. Here's a guy, a United States senator, and he's a Canadian citizen, and he only, you know, disputed that 15 months ago and terminated it. And he said, amazingly, Chris, to me, he said he didn't know he was a Canadian citizen. The fact is he was born in Canada, he lived there for an extended period of time, and now he's running, and according to constitutional scholars and great constitutional lawyers, he's not allowed to serve as president.
Let's talk about a very immediate problem here, and that's a last-minute mailer by the Cruz campaign out here in Iowa to scare voters into showing up. It's made to look like an official government document declaring a voting violation for not caucusing in prior elections. Iowa's Secretary of State has slammed the mailer, accusing citizens of Iowa of voting violation based on Iowa caucus participation or lack thereof is false representation of an official act. To repeat that phrase from the Secretary of State.
I've never heard of it before. I guess it's something that has been done. It's not allowed to be done. A couple of people that are serious professionals, like I'm sure yourself, you may have seen it. I think, Chris, I think you've seen it all. Have you ever seen anything like this?
I've never heard of this, baby. I've heard of some of this stuff on Social Security organizations that say official document, but I've never heard this particular thing. Let me ask you about this.
I think it's one of the most disgraceful things that I've seen in politics, where you're saying violation, and then they're giving you Fs for your voting records, and they're saying immediately come and vote. I think it's one of the most horrible things that I've seen in politics, and I've seen pretty bad stuff just like you have. And this just came, and now, as you know, he's under investigation by the Attorney General or whomever in Iowa. I think what he did to do that, and he knew about it. You know, it's interesting. In Canada, he said he didn't know he was a Canadian citizen. Then he said he didn't know they didn't file his loan from, you know, that Goldman Sachs and Citibank weren't mentioned. He didn't know because, you know, he wants to be Robin Hood. This guy is a lying guy. He's hated by everybody. Here's a guy that can't even get the endorsement of a very, very good governor of Texas. As you know, he can't get the endorsement from your governor of Texas, your sitting governor of Texas. Can't get the endorsement from one of his colleagues in the Senate. Not one senator is endorsing him, and he works with them on a daily basis when he shows up to work. I mean, this Ted Cruz is terrible. And then he says things about me in ads that are so untrue. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. He takes an ad and says things that are absolutely unbelievably untrue. And other than I have a little bit of a megaphone more so than other people, they wouldn't know what the truth is. But when he did this violation called voting violation, I guess that's what you're talking about, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in politics so bad.
Let's talk about the New York Times judgment today. They've endorsed Hillary Clinton. They've obviously passed over the email issue. They've endorsed one of your rivals, John Kasich. Did that surprise you?
No, not really. Look, you know, the New York Times is the New York Times, and it really doesn't. I don't think it'll have any impact at all on the race. When the New York Times endorses a Republican, I don't think it's going to have any impact whatsoever on the race. He's not doing very well. He's a guy I've actually gotten to like, but his numbers are certainly bad. I just looked at the new poll that just came out, as you know, in Iowa. The whole thing just came out. I guess I read it on Bloomberg or someplace where I'm leading, the Des Moines Register and Bloomberg poll. And it seems to be a very respected poll, but I'm leading by 5 or 6 points on that one, and doing very well with evangelicals, doing very well with Tea Party, doing very well in the poll. Now let's see what happens, because as you know, Chris, the only poll that matters is the one tomorrow. But so I don't even talk about it. But the poll did just come out, and I know Kasich is not at the top of that poll, and he's very close to the bottom of the poll.
Well, Robert Costa joins me now from the Washington Post. And Robert, did you notice when I asked him, do you think there's something morally wrong about someone from another country being elected president of the United States? He didn't know whether I was talking about Barack Obama or Ted Cruz. So I helped him out there. I said, well, let's talk about Ted Cruz right now. Lying guy. That's a pretty strong line to use against a guy the night before an election. A lying guy.
It's all part of Trump's strategy. He sees the nomination on the horizon, and he wants to suffocate Cruz's candidacy before it can ever get out of Iowa with a bounce. He thinks he can win New Hampshire. He's ahead in South Carolina.
How much does he have to beat him by tomorrow if he beats him to knock him out?
To knock Cruz out, probably 5 or 10 points. But it becomes a two-man race unless Rubio can get something above 15.
Okay, back to you, Rachel, in New York.